Hello students, today we are going to start chapter 3, The Sultans of Delhi. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about the period of the Delhi Sultanate. It is also called the Sultanate period because the rulers of this period were generally called the Sultans. In this period, there were 5 dynasties which ruled over your northern part of India. These are the dynasties. Early Turkish rulers 1206 to 1290 AD. These rulers were Qutbuddin Abek, Shamshasuddin Iltutmish, Razia Sultan, Ghiasuddin Balban. Then comes your Khilji dynasty, Jalaluddin Khilji and Alauddin Khilji. These were two. It started from 1290 to 1320 AD. Then Tughlaq dynasty from 1320 to 1414, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Muhammad Tughlaq, Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Sayyid dynasty from 1414 to 1451, Khizr Khan. Lodi dynasty 1451 to 1526, Bahlul Lodi, Sikandar Lodi and Ibrahim Lodi. So first we are discussing about the sources, the inscriptions, the coins, the architecture. They provide us a lot of information about the Delhi Sultanate. Most valuable information is provided by histories, that is known as tarikhs or twarikh, written in your Persian language. The Persian language in which this tarikh and twarikh was written, it was written in the language of the administration. The authors of your Tuareg, they were very much learned men. They were the administrators, they were the courtiers who used to recount events and advise the rulers on their governance. They used to recount the events and advise the rulers on their governance. But these has some limitations also, means the drawbacks. The authors who used to write the Tuareg, they live in the Delhi and other cities. They praise sultan, they used to praise sultans, the author used to praise sultans that they will get rich rewards. They were hoping to get a rich reward from the sultan. They advised rulers on the need of the preserve an ideal social order that was based on the birth and the gender. They advised rulers, these authors advised rulers that there is need to preserve and social order base, that is that ideal social order is being based on the birth and on the gender. Now comes your slave dynasty, AD 1206 to 1290. Qutbuddin Abek, he was the first sultan of your slave dynasty. He was the generals of the Muhammad Ghori. He was one of the generals of your Muhammad Ghori. You know the Muhammad Ghori we have read in previous chapter. After Ghori's death, Qutbuddin began to rule independent ruler. He began to rule as an independent ruler after the death of Muhammad Ghori. He was very kind-hearted man. He was called Lakh Baksh because he used to donate, or he was the donor of lakhs. He built Quwwatul Islam Mosque in Delhi. Quwwatul Islam. Okay. Quwwatul Islam Mosque is in Delhi. He started the construction of Qutub Minar. It was later completed by his son-in-law Iltutmish. So Qutbuddin's son-in-law was Iltutmish. He started making in Qutub Minar, but it was finished by his son-in-law Iltutmish. Qutbuddin was succeeded by Iltutmish. He is considered as the consolidator of the slave dynasty because he faced many problems, but he dealt with every problem very courage, with very bravery and intelligence. Okay, that's why he is known as the consolidator of the slave dynasty. Iltutmish fought against the Turkish nobles. He fought against the Turkish nobles and the Rajput rulers in the north. He defeated the rulers of Ujjain, Ranthambore, and he again regained his position in the northwestern part. He consolidated his position in the northwestern part. He added Bihar and Qutub Minar Delhi. So he added Bihar and Bengal to his empire. Okay, he annexed two places, Bihar and Bengal, to his empire. Iltutmish was defeated by Muhammad Ghori general. Okay, your Iltutmish, he was defeated by Muhammad Ghori's general. General name was Kubacha. This Muhammad Ghori general, Kubacha, defeated Iltutmish. He refused shelter to the victims of Genghis Khan and saved his empire from Mongols' attack. Okay, so earlier I'm telling you about Iltutmish in brief. Listen, the Kutubuddin, he was succeeded by Iltutmish. He was known as the consolidator of the slave dynasty. Why? Because he faced many problems, but still he dealt with every problem with very much courage and intelligence. He fought against Turkish and Rajput rulers. He defeated Ujjain and Ranthambore rulers also. He added Bihar and Bengal into his empire. He was Muhammad Ghori's general. Okay, Iltutmish defeated Muhammad Ghori's general Kubacha. He refused to give shelter to the victims of Genghis Khan because he wanted to save his empire from Mongol attack because he was a Mongolian. He completed the construction of Qutub Minar started by Qutubuddin Beg. He had many sons, but he cannot consider them capable and decided to crown his daughter Razia as the Sultan. After his death, the nobles crowned his son Ruknuddin Firoz Shah, but he failed to manage the affairs of the kingdom. Okay, he was succeeded by Razia only. Iltutmish. So here the point, this Qutub Minar, by mistake it has come. So he added Bihar and Bengal to his empire. Iltutmish defeated Muhammad Ghori general Kubacha. Not given shelter to Genghis Khan because he was afraid of Mongol will attack them. Qutub Minar construction he completed. He did not consider them capable. He was having many sons, but no one was capable. Decided to crown daughter Razia as the Sultan. After his death, the noble people of the region, the noble people who were living there, they crowned Ruknuddin Firoz Shah. He was son of your Iltutmish as the new Sultan, but he failed to manage the affairs of the kingdom. Now the Razia became the Sultan. See Kutubuddin Beg, Shamshasuddin Iltutmish, Razia Sultan, Balban, Nasaruddin Muhammad. Now Razia Sultan. She was daughter of Iltutmish. She was only woman Sultan of Delhi, the only woman who became Sultan of Delhi. Her reign period was full of problems. She faced many problems, many rebellions from the nobles of her dynasty. The people were against that a woman as a ruler. She wore a male attire and she used to ride an elephant also. She was succeeded in establishing law and order in her empire. The noble, they used to conspire against her. They used to make different plans against her and killed her in a battle. The nobles, they conspired against her, make different plans, and one day she died because of that conspiracy. Razia lies buried in the grave of Turkmen Gate as a great woman warrior of her times. Her grave is there. Okay, she is being buried there in a grave of Turkmen Gate as a great woman warrior of her times. She was a great woman warrior. Qiyasuddin Balban. He was last important slave king, very powerful ruler. He recognized his army, fought against the local rulers, defeated many of them. He even defended his empire from the invasion of Mongols, that Mongolian people should not enter to his kingdom. During his reign, he made Sultan's position supreme, that Sultans are having the supreme position, the main position. He introduced the Persian custom of Sijda, okay, where the nobles had to kneel and touch the ground and salute the Sultan. Okay, they used to do sajda, that is Sijda, where the nobles they had to kneel down on their knees, they have to touch the ground and salute the sultans. This new custom started. The practice was not liked by the Orthodox Muslims. The old people, the Orthodox Muslim who were of old thinking, they were not satisfied with this thing of Balban. He died of an illness in 1287 and he was succeeded by his grandson Kakubad 1287 to 1290 AD, a pleasure seeking monarch. He soon lost his throne and eventually died of paralysis. The throne of Delhi was passed into the hands of Khaljis. See, this is the slave dynasty in the map, the green part, during the reign of Iltutmish. Now, Khalji dynasty from AD 1290 to 1320. Jalaluddin Firoz Khalji, the first ruler of the dynasty, was Jalaluddin. He was not a strong leader. He adopted very lenient policy, not very strict policy towards the Mongols. He was succeeded by Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji was very ambitious ruler. He wanted to conquer the whole world. To achieve his aim, he quickly won the nobles and soldiers by distributing gold from treasury. This Alauddin Khilji, he distributed the gold from his treasure and won the nobles and the soldiers. He imposed many strict restrictions on the nobles. Nobles were not allowed to meet and have festivities, means to celebrate any kind of festivals without his permission. His spies were active anywhere. He was having spies everywhere. His spies were active everywhere. Okay. See, this is the period of the Khilji dynasty. Alaluddin campaign in South India. Okay, this I'm going to tell you now, the expansion. See, Alaluddin wanted to expand his empire. This only expansion of empire is there. The first step in this direction was to conquest Gujarat and Malwa. He wanted to conquer Gujarat and Malwa. So what he did, he tried to establish his control over Rajasthan and capture the forts of Ranthambore and Chittor. This Ranthambore and Chittor fort were the first forts he captured. After capturing your Chittorgarh, it is said that Rani Padmini with other Rajput women of the kingdom committed Johar. This is being shown in the movie Padmavat also. Because Khalji, he started liking Rani Padmini. He wanted that Rani Padmini to be his queen. But Rajput women of the kingdom, they committed Johar. They burned themselves alive. Alauddin heard of this. He ordered slaughter of his enemy. He ordered that everybody should die. Amir Khusrau, the court poet who accompanied him on this expedition on this journey, he records that 30,000 Rajput rulers died on that single day. Not ruler, okay? I'm talking about 30,000 Rajputs who were fighting against him, died on that single day. Alauddin did not bring all these territories under his direct control. He made all these rulers to accept as their suzerain. Here the word suzerain generally means a dominant state which is controlling the foreign relations but allowing its sovereignty. Sovereign means its supremacy in its internal affair. Okay, so Alauddin Khilji, he made all these rulers to accept his as their suzerain, that he is the one who is dominant one and everybody will consider him as the supreme authority in the internal affair also. So they had to pay huge amount of a tribute as a tribute to him. After his death in 1316, a war succession broke out. The last Khalji ruler was Khusrau Malik. He was replaced by the Tughlaq Sultans. Here you can see in this map of Alauddin Khalji campaign, as he was a brilliant general, he conquered the many territories. He launched campaigns in the Deccan part which was led by Malik Kafur. He was first Delhi Sultan whose army crossed Vindhya mountain. Here was Vindhya mountain. He was first Delhi Sultan, Alauddin Khalji, whose army, or I could say he crossed the Vindhya mountain. Malik Kafur defeated Yadavas of Devagiri. See, okay. Yadavas of Devagiri, he defeated Malik Kafur. Kakatiyas of Irangal was also defeated. And AD 1310, they wanted to attack Hosalas of Dwarasamudra and Pandyas of Mabar. Okay. Now the economic measures. Alauddin wanted to conquer Deccan and Rajasthan. For this, he needed a strong army. To maintain the army, he needed money, means revenues. To increase revenue collection, he controlled prices of all the commodities, means the goods, the food grains, the cattle, and the slaves. Okay, to increase the revenue collection, he controlled the prices of the commodity, means the goods, the food grains, the cattle, slaves, etc. The Sultan made arrangements for the government to buy all excess non-perishable commodities. Non-perishable are those commodities that perishable. There are two types of goods: perishable and non-perishable. Perishable, which can be used up to 1 week. After that, it cannot be used, like eggs, bread. Okay, non-perishable goods that can be used for a longer period of time. So he made an arrangement that the government should buy all the non-perishable commodity which is in excess. A strict watch was kept on buying and selling of commodities. Anyone who is found cheating, anyone who is being found cheating was severely punished. So they were watching that buying and selling of the commodity, how they are taking place, and anyone who is found cheating, he is severely punished. Under Alauddin Khalji, the state brought the assessment and collection of land revenue under his control. The rights of local chieftain to levy taxes, they all were cancelled. The local chieftains are having no right to impose tax. They were forced to even pay tax. Three type of tax were there. First, on cultivation called kharaj, which amounted to be 50% of the peasant produced. 50%, whatever the peasant is producing, that tax is known as kharaj. They have to pay. Tax were on houses also, on cattle also. The revenue reform made more money available to the king. With the help of this money, Alauddin, he was able to keep a permanent standing army. He imported horses and paid the soldiers in cash. His descriptive role means chehra. It was maintained for each soldier. A descriptive role, that is the chehra. It was being maintained for each soldier. Now comes your Tughlaq dynasty, AD 1320 to AD 1414. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. He was the first ruler of your Tughlaq dynasty. He was capable of military commander. He was a very much capable military commander. Okay. He suppressed many rebellions and consolidated the empire. Many rebellions who raised their voice against him, he suppressed them and he consolidated the empire. That empire was in his position. He was conquering that particular empire. He was succeeded by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Who was Muhammad bin Tughlaq? Muhammad bin Tughlaq succeeded his father Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. He was a learned man. He was having deep knowledge about philosophy, logic, mathematics, medicine. He knew many languages also, like your Persian, Arabic, Turkish. He knows even Sanskrit language. The main source of information about this periods are the records of Moroccan traveler. One Moroccan traveler came to India, that was Ibn Battuta. He lived in the court of this Muhammad bin Tughlaq for many years. He tells us that he was a great man of great ideas. He was very much ambitious. He was having many ambitious schemes. However, he did not implement his ideas properly. Means he was very much wise man, but his ideas were not implemented properly. Therefore, his all plans failed. This was his empire, Tughlaq Empire. This was the extension of the Tughlaq Empire. Okay, this is the map when the Tughlaq Empire expanded. See the yellow part. This is the main place, Daulatabad. This is now known as Devagiri. See the yellow part. This is the extension of his Muhammad bin Tughlaq Empire. So transfer of capital. He decided to transfer the capital from Delhi to Devagiri. Here is your Devagiri. That is known as Daulatabad. There were two reasons behind this. He thought that it would be a better place to administer and control the empire because it is in central India. It is easy to control the empire from there. Okay, so Mongols constantly threatened Delhi, and Mongols were threatening Delhi, and Daulatabad would never have a such problem because Delhi is far away from Daulatabad is far away from Delhi. He instructed the entire population of Delhi to leave the city and they should move to Devagiri, that is Daulatabad. The people resented the idea of shifted. The people did not like the idea. They resented the idea because the journey was long and arduous. Okay? Means it was very a tiring journey, very long and tiring journey. Soon he realized that it was impossible to keep a check on the northern frontier. He cannot check on a northern frontier by being in this Devagiri, in the Daulatabad. He cannot look for this northern region, frontiers from Daulatabad. So he ordered the people to march back. The kingdoms of the Deccan saw this as a sign of a weak sultanate. They said the Sultan cannot make a decision properly, so he is a weak sultan. They began to assert their independence. They wanted independence now. Now, taxation in Doab and introduction of your token currency. Taxation in Doab. Sultan raised taxes on the peasants of the Doab region. Okay, they were facing severe famine. Famine means when there is a shortage of food over its demand. I should show. See, this is your Doab region. So the Sultan he raised the taxes on the farmers, on the peasants. They were facing famine. Shortage of food was there. To raise tax at such a time was his big mistake. The peasants they abandoned their land. The Sultan had to withdraw his order. Okay, the peasants were not cultivating, they abandoned their land. The Sultan has to cross this order of raising taxes. He withdraw his orders. Now the token currency came. These are the coins of Muhammad bin Tughlaq dynasty. This is image of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq he introduced coins in the brass and copper. These could exchange for silver coins at any time from royal treasury. Okay. Muhammad bin Tughlaq he introduced brass and copper coin. You can exchange it for silver coins at any time from royal treasury. The copper and brass coin had the same value as the silver tanka, as the silver coin. But they failed to check the forgery. But they didn't check the forgery. They didn't watch that how much the people are taking. The people started taking it illegally, minting the coins illegally. Their result trade suffered. Foreign merchants they refused to accept the token currency. The sultans had to give silver coin exchange for forged coins. Okay, the treasury became empty because of this. So it was again a bad decision for him when he introduced the copper and brass coins. He was exchanging it for silver at any time. When the people start exchanging it, he didn't check the forgery, and because of this, the people started making coins illegally. Their results suffered. Now the merchants, the traders were not accepting this token currency. Okay, the Sultan he has to give his silver coins in exchange of the forged coins. Okay, the illegal coins. The treasury, his treasure became empty because of this. Khorasan expedition. Khorasan expedition. In order to expand his empire, Muhammad bin Tughlaq decided to conquer Khorasan. So he mobilized a huge army. Okay, a large amount of money was spent to equip this army with weapons. He quickly made decision and abandoned the expedition. Okay, the army that has raised was disbanded because this much money was spent on the army. It was also disbanded. He became very unpopular because of this scheme. He lost his trust among the common people because so many bad decisions he took. The nobles and the ulemas. So, because of this, he became very unpopular among the common people, nobles, and ulemas. Ulemas means your Islamic scholars who are having special knowledge of the Muslim religion. These are the scholars. Revolts broke out in Bengal, Gujarat, and Warangal. The Sultan lost the control of his empire. He died in 1357 because of illness. So, in the first video, we have did till Khurasuddin expedition. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.